the fact that Ryan, has gone through 3 top trainers that would have done a great job, Eddie Reynoso, Joe Goosen, and Derek James.
Correct.
And he's not training with neither of them. He's training with his dad.
Did Ryan Garcia ever allow those trainers to be the boss?
That's why he's back with his dad, because he's the boss. That's why.
Yeah.
Look, Joe Goosen, I know Joe Goosen. My brother used to train with him. He's not gonna just let you get away with stuff like that. Derek James shouldn't either. Eddie Reynoso doesn't need. He's made so much money with Canelo that if you want to come to me, it's gonna be under my rules. And if that didn't work, then Ryan's back. So that's I give that big advantage to Barrios to even pull that off.
See, that's the thing about boxing, and Big Baby Miller pointed it out, because there's no structure. We need some kind of structure. In the NFL, the guy has to sit there for the media interview. He shows up on time. He's got to do it. And to give you an NFL analogy, think about the Broncos, right? When they had Russell Wilson over there and he had his own office and everything. And it was nothing, it was dysfunctional. Then they hired Sean Payton.
Cut it out.
As a coach, that's like going to train with Goosen or going to train with a world-class trainer, right? And you knew as soon as Sean Payton got there, ain't no one's going to have their own office. And you turn around a couple years later, and they're great. They're in the playoffs, right? That's the thing in boxing. When fighters want it comfortable, right? Sometimes when Miguel Cotto would want to train in certain places because it was more comfortable for him, I thought, I want to see the Miguel Cotto when it's uncomfortable, right? And Cotto's a great fighter, of course, and a serious person. But the fighter really has a little too much control when they reach a certain level sometimes of their own career, which is good in one way, but in another way can limit them athletically. But because boxing is not a comfort business.
Max Kellerman dissects the showdown between Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios, making it clear that natural ability alone won't carry Ryan through this battle, insisting that without strict discipline, solid structure, and relentless consistent training, his raw gifts simply won't be enough to overcome a focused and prepared Barrios.
Not a comfort business.
But do you think it's more of his opponent, where maybe I could get away with training with my dad, compared to if I'm fighting a top dude?
It'd be a big mistake to underestimate him.
Right, and it's like everyone thought he was gonna win that fight, and Rolly just outboxed him. Rolly outboxed him and looked good doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy. I wish that Ryan, because he's so talented, I wish he would stick to a coach and really just follow the instructions.
Ryan will win this fight.
Max and Robert Garcia admire Ryan's undeniable talent and explosive skill set, yet they caution that constant changes in trainers disrupt his progress and could slow his development, especially when compared to Barrios' unwavering commitment and stability. While at the same time, both fighters send sharp warnings back and forth as tension builds before fight night.
Everybody says, left hand, make sure that's up, you gotta protect it, blah, blah, blah. That's what I would imagine he's saying. And gotta take that away. It's probably, a little things like that. They drill a lot of just keeping the hands up all day long. So it's like here, 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 here. But, this freestyle type of boxing, with technique is gonna overwhelm this man.
It was a great experience. He's definitely one of a kind. I took a lot from that fight, just being there with somebody with his timing, his skill, his speed. Yeah, just gonna use that, in every way, to grow as a fighter.
Your opponent on the 21st, Garcia, hasn't actually won a fight officially since 2023. He's been through a lot of controversies, the scandal with Haney, and then the loss against Rolly Romero. What do you make of all that?
I don't make much of all the noise around Garcia. I just know I have a live opponent in front of me. I have somebody who's trying to take my title, and I'm looking just to go out there and defend.
So you're looking to put on a big performance stylistically. What are you going to come with?
Stylistically, I think this is going to be very...
Mario Barrios declares with intensity that he plans to dissect Ryan Garcia's style piece by piece, attacking every flaw he has studied and refusing to give an inch as he fiercely protects his title with relentless determination. INTRVI, IIW4 Ryan Garcia, however, insists that his mindset remains unchanged despite his trainer's departure, claiming he feels just as sharp and locked in as ever while keeping his full attention on preparing for Mario Barrios.
For you, that he's working with a trainer you're familiar with, then...
Oh, yeah, in my eyes, But Hey, because I know I've already said some stuff that that guy's already told him. But again, like he said, boxing is one-on-one. At the end of the day, he's a free thinker. I'm a free thinker.
Ryan said, Joe's not going to stop this fight. It's going to be a physical fight, a bloody fight. You're smiling when you're hearing that. Is that the kind of fight you want?
Not necessarily that it's the fight I want, but it's never a fight that I shy away from. Gone out of my shield before. Like I said, every time I step in there, I give it, whatever I have that day. And if that's the way like this fight goes, if it ends in a bloody battle, then it does. And I'm never shied away from that.
I respect that. I honestly do. I do see that in him. He definitely gives everything he got in that ring. And it's dope.
Inside Ryan Garcia's Los Angeles training camp, the atmosphere is electric with grueling workouts, rapid-fire combinations, disciplined drills, and a clear sense of serious dedication as he pushes himself to the limit in preparation for the fight.
Lock up top 3. Lock up top 1. Lock up top 3, 2. Yeah. And time. Like this. Like this. Yeah.
During an intense gym session, Ryan Garcia unleashes thunderous shots on the heavy bag, each punch echoing with power and purpose as he sharpens his strength and aggression. Mario Barrios firmly states that he is completely locked in defensively, determined to guard his championship with pride and refusing to allow Ryan Garcia any opportunity to snatch away his hard-earned belt.
I'm looking just to go out there and defend.
So you look put on a big performance, stylistically, what going to come with?
Fight, Garcia, he's explosive, he's dangerous, and but I think on a boxing level, there's no like competing with us. I think I'm the better fighter.
You just said you're the better fighter. Who do you put more on the line with, your title or his credibility?
I'm looking to
Wade. Plemons explains how adopting a southpaw stance can completely reshape a fighter's strategy inside the ring, expressing admiration for Ryan's thoughtful and analytical approach as he studies opponents deeply before major bouts, noting that Ryan has been reviewing performances by Keith Thurman and Abel Ramos against Barrios fights that tested him, severely on questioning how Ryan's free-flowing style will absorb lessons from those battles to deal with Barrios, who is widely regarded as one of boxing's most dangerous finishers.
Both tough nights for Mario Barrios, but I'm interested to see what Ryan takes away from those fights. What can Ryan and his style, that kind of freestyle boxing he says he does, what can he implement from either of those guys to beat Barrios?
One of the best finishers in boxing. Like, I know you didn't finish Devin Haney, but you had him drowned.
I saved him. I should have knocked him. I just didn't have the conditioning.
I think it still bothers you, huh?
Yes, because I should have knocked him out in that 11th, man. I was playing around too much. Yeah. And I was like, ha ha, like, bro. But next time, that next time, buddy.
There we go again.
You won't have a next time. I'm finishing you. You will never box again if we fight again, and you know that. And I vow to that. If we fight again, you will never box again. I promise you that.
Gee, this is what I'm saying, bro. We need this fight. I've said it so many times.
Ryan looks back on his clash with Devin Haney, admitting that although he dropped Haney during the fight, poor conditioning prevented him from sealing the finish, expressing regret for not closing the show in the 11th round and confessing that he eased off and toyed around too much. vowing that next time he will stay fully dialed in, while Wade fires back passionately that if they meet again, Ryan will be done and could even see his boxing future end, stressing how massive the matchup would be in America, as both recognize the enormous stakes with only 9 days remaining before the anticipated showdown.
Someone's against him, when people think he'll lose, when it's a different challenge to him, even though the Rolly fight was a huge challenge. It was a world title shot, right? But you think back through Ryan's career and the fights where he performs better. Oscar Duarte fight, he thought Oscar De La Hoya and all of Golden Boy was against him. Obviously, the Devin Haney fight, no one thought he'd win. The Luke Campbell fight, you know, Luke was an Olympian, so that was a big deal as well. The Gervonta Davis fight, he just lost. I mean, yes, the weight cut, whatever, but Ryan lost. But the mentality of Ryan, that's the thing that's so all over the place from time to time that you just don't know what Ryan you're going to get. I don't know what Ryan we're going to get in the Mario Barrios fight. He's saying all the right stuff. He's trained hard, right? He's acting like this is the one, but mentally isn't, right? Because he kind of said the right stuff. He was a little quieter last time with the Rolly fight, but he said the right stuff, and it's hard to know, dude. It is, because another thing you worry about, I keep looking at this picture of Ryan.
Mario Barrios speaks about Ryan Garcia with measured respect, acknowledging his speed, knockout power, and confidence while pointing out the unusual stretch Ryan has experienced recently, referencing the flat loss to Roy Romero and the brilliant triumph over Devin Haney, as well as outside distractions like the testing controversy that may have weighed on him mentally. Yet despite all the turbulence, Barrios ultimately says he wishes Ryan nothing but the best.
Get Ryan as an opponent. Obviously, I'll put respect on the speed, the power, the confidence, and all that, but it's been a weird stretch for him in the ring, to be fair. The lifeless loss to Rolly Romero, the spectacular victory over Devin Haney, but obviously the drug test, everything that went on around that mentally, and certainly at the end of the day, we wish Ryan well. How do you sort of gauge where he's at as a fighter entering this fight?
It's hard to say really, where exactly he's at, but I just had to prepare as if I have a focused Ryan in front of me, as they're saying, and yeah, just everything else kind of just is just background noise. But to look at Ryan's, at his best performances, when he has looked.
When questioned about Ryan's current condition, Barrios admits it is hard to determine exactly where he stands, explaining that his entire camp is built around preparing for the absolute best version of Ryan, treating every strategy session as if an extraordinary peak performer will step into the ring, dismissing media stories, controversies, and noise as irrelevant to his focus, and making it clear that whether Ryan arrives at full strength or below his standard, he will be ready to respond with professionalism, discipline, and a strategy centered purely on skill and execution.
One of a kind, he's a character to be around. But no, the move to go be with Joe was gonna happen, whether this fight with Ryan was made or not. I was definitely, just after the podcast fight, looking at what steps I wanted to make, moving forward, to just, continue to just grow as a fighter, to just continue to just, work on, I guess, yeah, just to work on myself and, get back to some of the things that has, that got me this far in the first place. Earlier in my career, I was definitely, a lot more aggressive. I had a much higher punch output, and so me and my team sat down and were like, why not change the scenery?
Tim Bradley breaks down Ryan Garcia's tactical approach against Mario Barrios, emphasizing timing and sharp accuracy, describing how Ryan uses a probing jab to read movement and catch opponents as they dip or shift levels, highlighting the 45 punch, a hybrid between a hook and an uppercut popularized by Oscar De La Hoya, which Ryan has carefully studied and incorporated into his arsenal, labeling it a dangerous weapon that Barrios must stay alert to throughout the fight.
Because Barrios is a counterpuncher and he likes to stay, again, close to mid-range to outside, mid-range to outside. So he's like, a step or two, I would say a step, right in mid-range when he's firing shots. And so sometimes he'll throw those single jabs at mid-range, and he can be countered with the right hand. But we all know that Ryan Garcia, hopefully his right hand is back, operating. If his right hand is operating, he should have a field day, taking advantage of that, mid-range jab coming from Barrios. And he does it a lot, man. He really does. A lot of stuff that he does, he has good form and technique on it, Barrios. But it's just subtle mistakes that he makes. Like just stand near the pocket after he gets done working so guys can attack.
Bradley also points out weaknesses in Barrios' game, noting his historical struggles with body attacks that drain stamina, explaining that while Barrios throws a powerful right hand, he can be vulnerable to clean right hands and left hooks. And as a counterpuncher who prefers mid to long mid-range and often steps in with single jabs, he sometimes leaves openings that Ryan could capitalize on if his right hand is firing sharply, stressing that Ryan's speed, timing, and precision could prove decisive. And although Barrios displays solid technique and form, small defensive lapses might allow Ryan to take control, ultimately framing the bout as a high-level chess match of strategy and skill, where Ryan's refined tools pose a serious threat.
He swells quickly, man. Yeah, you know, he gets damaged really easily. You know, you touch him, he starts to bruise up immediately, starts to swell up immediately. So I think Ryan having those heavy hands, I think that can be an issue in the fight as well. You know, those eyes will start swelling, that nose will start swelling up. I've seen, you know, eyes and nose swell up on Barrios, man, and you know, he looked like, you know, real bad, you know, the Elephant Man, you know, after fight. So I think that's something that we got to take into consideration as well. You know, I think, again, let's go back to the trainer. I think it's going to favor Barrios, the fact that he knows that his trainer knows Garcia. It is going to favor him. He's going to know, you know, the approach, you know, on how to get to Ryan Garcia. He's seen